All right, hello and welcome to our workshop for today. We are going to talk today about how to create a Works Cited page and how to do it correctly in MLA format. So we're going to go ahead and start off. First of all, this is the document you all have access to, our format guide for MLA. So you can see how our formatting looks. Everything you write, if it's something that's formal, something that's written in a document, should look like this. This is what we do now, and it's very important that you understand how each of these pieces fit together. So if you ever need a refresher, you have all of this right here to look at. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And I want to start off with the anticipatory set because we want to get started and start thinking about this the right way. And just for some reason, this one was kind of fun. So I like what we're about to do for our anticipatory set. Now, probably like some of you, I really like the Marvel movies. I think they're a lot of fun. The superhero movies, I like watching those movies. But I heard really awesome news this morning about a new movie coming out. They're actually going to make a standalone Hulk movie, but not the Hulk that you think you know. His brother, actually. Not the Incredible Hulk, but actually the Credible Hulk. And the Credible Hulk always cites his sources. So I thought that was pretty funny. So there's this one. I also like this one. You won't like me when I'm angry because I always back up my rage with facts and documented sources. The Credible Hulk. And finally, same thing. You won't like me when I'm angry because I always support my argument with properly documented scholarly sources. The Credible Hulk. So I thought those were pretty hilarious. So that's going to be our anticipatory set today because that is what we're going to be working on. We're going to be working on how to cite our sources and how to use that because it's very important, especially today when you have no idea where all this information that you have on the internet is coming from. You need to be very careful about what you believe and what you learn and where it comes from. And the way to understand what it is that you're learning and the way to make sure that it is correct is that you cite your sources. You know where it comes from. Mrs. Berry hates when I do this, but whenever she brings something up, an argument or something like that, I always say, well, you have to cite your source. She has to tell me where she got her information. And now she started to do it to me, so I have to make sure I keep up on my research so that I know. But it's very important to understand that you need to cite your sources no matter what. So I like those pictures. I thought they were pretty funny. So let's go ahead and close those. And let's get into what we're going to be doing today. So we have our style guide, right? Our formatting guide right here. So what I did, it's not based on any of our standards, but I love Roman history. So I went ahead and wrote up a little fake essay about Vespasian Flavian, my favorite Roman emperor. So right here, we have my formatting that's done correctly. And what we're going to do, what we're going to talk about today is first we're going to talk about our Works Cited page and then how to actually cite things in our text. So the good thing is all of you have or should have a list of all the sources you used for your essay these past few weeks. And we're going to go ahead and get to that in a second. So first of all, I wrote about Vespasian Flavian. So I wrote a little intro. He's a new kind of emperor, Roman emperor, middle class, blah, 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 I'm talking about. Now, when we get down to here, Vespasian was a man who was one of Rome's greatest imperial builders. He would construct many projects during his reign. Okay, so I want to look for some information. Now, the thing I need to be able to do is I need to be able to cite my sources. I need to know where my information is coming from. So I need to have, important documents. I need to have things that all work and documents that I trust and sources that I can cite. Luckily, I love Roman history, so I have this book, and I have this book, and I found this book, and I got 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 this book. And if none of these books work out for my information, I have a giant book simply titled Ancient Rome. So I can use any of those sources because these are all published sources that I can use. Now, obviously, I was not around back in AD 60 when Vespasian Flavian was around, so I don't know these things. So I need to be able to cite my sources. Now, one of the things I wanted to write about in my essay was about the different things that the different building projects that Vespasian Flavian did. It's a fun name to say too. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this one. The title of this one is Chronicle of the Roman Emperors. So this will talk about each of the Roman emperors. So I put a little bookmark in here because if I open up to this, I'm opening up to the page that talks about Vespasian. And actually, Titus, you're on here too. Oh. Anyway, so Vespasian, this is him. He's a very handsome fellow with no nose and bald head. So this is a document now about the different things Vespasian did. So I'm on the right track. Now I just need to look through and find something about building. So if I get to this, and I put my bookmark right there, I get to this page, which is page 70. It's all about stuff that he did. And now let me read something because this is what I want to actually add to my document. What it says in this on page 70 is, let me find it now. His most famous building is the Flavian Amphitheater, known in later times as the Colosseum. So if anyone has ever been to Rome or knows about Rome, the Colosseum, still standing there today, was built by Vespasian Flavian. He started this construction project. So it's been around since AD 70, which is pretty incredible. So that's, I think, a detail I want. Okay? So first things first, I know I'm going to be using that document. I'm not going to go ahead and put it into my essay yet. I'm going to work on my Works Cited page. So let me get back to our document here. Okay, now I have my document. I want to include the Chronicle of the Roman Emperors. So what you do when you start a Works Cited page is you go to Insert up here. You go down to Page Break. Your Works Cited page must start on a different page. So when you open up a page break, that means no matter how much you write, it'll always be on that next page. Okay, so I already have my heading up here, or my header, because that's set up that way, that it always does that. Now, you need to go ahead and go up here. Right now you can see the cursor is over here on the left. You need to go and center align it. Then you're not going to do anything fancy, just like the title of our document. You're going to go ahead and just put Works Cited. That's it. No underline, no italics, no bold, just Works Cited. Then you go ahead, hit Enter or double space because our formatting is correct. Now you're going to go from center to left align. Now, when we do a Works Cited page, this is where we put each of the things that we use. So if someone wants to know what you use, they go to your Works Cited page, they look at it, and they use it correctly. And they're able to look it up and make sure that you're just not making things up off the top of your head. Now, the way a Works Cited page works, it's the same for everything, but you need to format it correctly. That's very difficult. Now, some of you who are on campus, and I'll open up a new window here, noticed when I put up OWL MLA. So some of you use this, and I heard from some of you that you actually have already used this before. But this is a great website. It's this, and I will put this link up as well. This website I used all throughout high school and college, especially in college where I needed to write a lot of these papers. You can see right here, it's all MLA formatting. They have the guide right here to show you how it works. They have a general format, and they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Look at that. It's exactly the way we did it. You can see everything right there. You can see the header right there. You can see that it has everything you need to know. Now, look right here, and you can see MLA Works Cited page. Ooh, all right. It has basic rules, the rules you need to do. Capitalization, punctuation, listing author names, blah, 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 blah. Now, let's say you found a book that you're wanting to use. There's a thing over here that says MLA Works Cited page books. If you look down, it says the basic format. The author's name or a book with a single author's name appears in last name, first name format. The basic form for a book citation is. So you go ahead and you fill in all this information. You need the author's last name, the author's first name, the title of the book in italics, the city of publication, the publisher, the year of publication, the medium of publication, and it tells you exactly what you need. It should look just like that. That's a great way to do it. You'd be able to go here. It's very important to know these things. So I'm going to go back and show you the book I was using for a second. So I have this right here. Now, the author's name, you can see right up here. I would use that. I would need to know the title. This is the title right here. I would also need to know when it was published, which you'd normally find right here in the beginning. There's usually a page that looks like this. You can see it right there. It has all just basic information. It'll tell you. So this one says it was a paperback edition in 2012. So I need to look and get that. I need to know all of that information that it was asking for. However, I have a shortcut for you. Now, it's very important to know how to cite. So that's why I'm telling you about this page and this resource that you can use, and I will put this link up. However, there's also something called easybib.com. We are technology-based in our class. Let's use technology to our advantage. Now, easybib.com is a great way to generate citations. It says it right here in MLA, APA, and Chicago formats. Luckily, we're not doing APA in Chicago. We are doing MLA. So you see right here, there are some options. You make sure that MLA is selected. And this website will go up on the website too, so you'll be able to link to this website. But easybib.com. Now, there's several options. A lot of you I saw when I was on campus have a lot of websites that you got information from. Well, right here, great. You can use that. Now, I'm going to go to book because I was using a book. Now it says cite a book by searching for the title. Okay, I have it right here. I already wrote it in. So, Chronicle of the Roman Emperors, which was the name of my book. Then you go over here to this little button right here and say cite it. It looks for all the information, and would you look at that? It's written by Christopher Scar. Very nice. Now look right here. This one says the Chronicle of the Roman Emperors, the reign-by-reign record of the rulers of Imperial Rome. This one says Chronicle of Roman Empires, the reign-by-reign, blah, 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 with 328 illustrations, 111 in color. Now remember, mine, I looked in there and saw that, yes, it was 2012, so I must have this edition of the book. So I'm going to say, cite this. Now, it asks you to answer some questions. Is it a print book, an ebook, an online database? Well, I had the actual hard book, right? I am going to cite the entire book, even though I just used some of it. You could also say a chapter or section, preface or introduction. You could do anything like that. I'm going to cite the whole book. The contributors, we have the author. Okay, I'll use the author. His name is Chris Scar. I have that. The information is the source title is that title. Perfect. I don't have a volume or edition or series number. The publication information, it has it all right here. Look at that. I'm already done. I just create citation. And if you look right here, it says our citation. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And then I'm just going to go back to my Works Cited page, and I'm going to paste. Now, as you can see, it's definitely not in the order we want it, right? There's some weird gray highlighting, things like that. You need to make sure it's in correct format. Right now, it's Arial 10.5. So just highlight your information. You want it to be Times New Roman. You want it to be size 12. You want there to be no highlight. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and also erase this because I don't like it saying with 328 illustrations. I don't need that. I have the title. Now, there's another problem, though. This is not how we format our Works Cited. Now, if you look back on our EasyBib, you see that for some reason, the first line is less indented and the second two lines are indented. That's called a hanging indentation, and we need to make sure that we do that as well. So when you go here, you need to delete that, and down here, you need to go ahead and move that in. Wrong. See if I can make it work. Nope, didn't work. Okay. Oh boy. Only works in Word, I guess. Well, we'll find a way to do it. There we go. Okay, so now that that was very confusing for everyone, let me go ahead and show you how to do that again. Okay, so once we have it like this, you need to move the entire block of text by taking this arrow up here at the top and move it to 1/2 inch. Then put your cursor at the very beginning of your citation and back it up, just the top part this time, to that. Now you have it formatted correctly. You can go to the end of it, hit enter, and do your next one. Now let's do a website as well, so you guys can see that as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and look for Vespasian Flavian biography. Let's do that. And let's say, no, I don't want Wikipedia. I don't like Wikipedia. You don't know if it's true or not. But here, Ancient History Encyclopedia, it looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to open that. There we go. There's our handsome Vespasian Flavian. He has all this information on him. Let's say I use this website. Well, go ahead and select, copy that website. You can go back to EasyBib and go back to the beginning. Now I have a website. And look at that. I can just, again, put in the URL. Cite it. And there we go. It has the website title, the article title, the date access, which is today. The source didn't give us, publisher, all this kind of stuff. So we're going to have to take a look at it. There may not be a way to figure it out. I need to try and go back to the website and see if I can find it. It tells you if it's missing anything. Right now it says it's missing the contributors, meaning the person who wrote it or made it. So let's go back and look at that. I found it. It's right there. Donald Wasson. So I just go back here and I fill it in myself. Donald. See, his middle name starts with an L. And his last name is Wasson. Now they're saying they're also missing the publisher or the sponsor. Who publishes? It says it was published on October 27th, but it doesn't say who. Now I can keep looking. I can look all the way down at the bottom. Donald Wasson, let's see, he teaches. No, he doesn't have any information there on who published it. Right here has some information. It even says cite this work down here. That might help me out as well. But I want to keep looking. Can't quite find it. Here we go. Now published under this license. Not really anything that I can work with. So I don't really know how it was published, who published it. So I'm just going to use the Ancient History Encyclopedia. I'm going to say that. So, great. Okay, the publisher or sponsor, I'm just going to say Ancient History Encyclopedia. And then when was it published? Well, I was able to find that, though. It was published on 27th of October in 2012. It's published 27th of October in 2012. Great. Now I have everything filled in. And I can create my citation. Very nice. So now I have this right here, my entire citation. I'm going to go back. Oh, great. Thank you. I'm going to go back to my article or my essay, paste that right there. And there we go. Now it's perfectly cited. I have 2 citations. So this is what you can use to create that. All right. You can use EasyBib, or you may use the Purdue OWL, which has its information right here, which you just need to fill in. Either way will work fine. Okay, so now let's get into the last thing we're going to talk about today. The last thing we're going to talk about is how to show that something you wrote is from someone else in MLA format. So let's say I was back up here, and remember from my Chronicle of the Roman Emperors book, the book I was reading from in the beginning, it said, and I will quote exactly what it said. It said, his most famous building is the Flavian Amphitheater, also known as the Colosseum. That's exactly what I want to write down. I did not come up with that. I did not use it. So I need to correctly cite it. So I would use quotation marks, and I would put in the quote that I want to use. So this is one way to do it. I'm going to show you a second way to do it here in a second. So his most famous building, and then it says his most famous building, however, is the Flavian Amphitheater. I don't want to use however. Whenever you want to take out just a single word or something like that from a quote, you just use an ellipsis, which is 3 dots. His most famous building is the Flavian Amphitheater, known in later times as the Colosseum. Perfect. Now that's what I want. Now, what we need to do, I just can't end it there and keep going because then the person reading would not know where it came from. I know where it came from. It came from this site, from Christopher Scar. That's who I'm taking it from. So all you have to do is you look at the first thing you see. You see that this was written by Christopher Scar. So all I need to do is, once I put the quotation marks, I put parentheses, and in the parentheses I write, and then the period. Now, if someone's reading through my article or through my essay, they get to this point. Vespasian was a man who was one of Rome's greatest imperial builders. He would construct many projects during his reign. And then in quotation marks it says, his most famous building is the Flavian Amphitheater, known in later times as the Colosseum, Scar. So if someone wanted to know more about that, wanted to know where I got that, they could look down here and see, oh, this is where it came from, and be able to find that book. This also makes sure that when someone's reading this, if they're reading this and going, that sounds very familiar, they don't go and look and say, wait a minute, Scar wrote this before. This person can't write it, and then get you in trouble for plagiarism. So you need to be very careful. If someone else wrote the information, you just need to give them their credit. That's why we are citing the sources. So if you use something, you make sure that you know where it came from. Okay, that's one way to do it. His most famous building is the Flavian Amphitheater, known in later times as the Colosseum. If it's exact quote, you put it in quotation marks and you do that. However, let's say you wrote something and it's not an exact quote, but you know you didn't come up with it. It came from something else. So what I can look at, there's another way to do that. Right here, when it says, let's say this is not actually there, but let's say this one right here. On the other hand, the testimony of Tacitus and whatever does afford us an image of the man himself, an able and determined individual who ended his days maintaining that the emperor should die on his feet. Let's say that information was taken from something else. I didn't use an exact quote. Let's say I adjusted the words a little bit. I did it in my own words, but the idea is not mine, and I got that information from something. There's another way to do that. I don't need to put quotes, but let's say that I got this from Donald Wasson on this one right here. At the end, you still just need to put parentheses, put Wasson, and then put the period. So again, if someone's reading it, they know, oh, this information came from this person. And that's it. You just need to put the last name of the author in parentheses so you know it wasn't your information. And that's everything you need to know about this. So as you're going through your essay now, find those pieces of information you pulled out, add a little citation of the last name of the author, and make sure that your Works Cited page is set. You can take each one of those sources that you used, that you should have been collecting over the past 2 weeks, and just start inputting them into EasyBib, or to adjust them using the OWL Purdue Online Writing Lab. I'll put both those websites up on the assignment, and just make sure everything is cited correctly. It's the most important. I know this is the first time we've done this, so just be careful. Make sure that when you're going through, you understand who gave you what information and what source you need to use. Okay? If there are any questions, please make sure to email me, and have fun making your first essay that is really truly in MLA format. Your essays are going to look fantastic, and as soon as they're done, once they've been graded and everything, we're going to print those out, and those are going to be something that we can use to show everyone just how good you are at your MLA formatting. Looks great. So have some fun, make your essays look incredible, and I cannot wait to read them. Have a great day, and go Buffs.